Buckle up, because what's about to unfold is hotter than any reality TV drama you've ever witnessed. You thought you knew betrayal, backstabbing, and family feuds, but this takes things to a whole new stratosphere. The two kings of love and hip-hop, Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris, have been officially kicked out of the game. Blacklisted. Shunned. The shocking reason behind their fall will leave you absolutely speechless. After years of being at the center of love and hip-hop's most unforgettable moments, affairs, cheating rumors, and explosive family drama, Kirk and Mendeecees are no longer welcome on the show that made them household names. But the burning question is, why? How did two of the most iconic figures in reality television fall from grace so quickly? Was it a simple mistake? A wild scandal, or something far darker and more explosive than what we've been told? Sources close to the show are spilling some seriously hot tea, and trust me, it's almost too much to handle. The twists and turns in this saga will leave your jaw on the floor. After being the backbone of love and hip-hop for years, these two once untouchable stars are now being kicked to the curb. The behind-the-scenes drama that led to their downfall goes deeper, darker, and more shocking than you could ever imagine. Let's rewind for a moment to understand how it all began. Kirk Frost, the beloved bad boy turned family man, had been a central figure on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta since day one. From his infamous cheating scandals to the traumatic baby mama drama, he was always at the heart of the action. No matter how deep the mess, Kirk always found a way back into the spotlight, captivating fans with his unpredictable behavior. His relationship with wife Rashida was always contentious for viewers. Their roller coaster relationship made for compelling television, but it was clear their bond, while rocky, had deep foundations. It wasn't just about the show for them, it was about family, kids, and legacy. But even that strong foundation couldn't shield them from the ruthless nature of reality TV. Then there's Mendeecees Harris. His prison time looked like a mere stepping stone to greater things. He built his entire brand, not just on love and hip-hop, but on his image as a reformed bad boy with a captivating redemption story. His family drama, marriage to Yandy Smith, and legal battles made him a fan favorite. Together, Kirk and Mendeecees were love and hip-hop's power players, the men everyone loved to hate. Their names became synonymous with drama, keeping fans hooked season after season. At first glance, they seemed like unlikely allies, with drastically different personalities, yet both struggled to balance troubled pasts with ambitious futures. Despite their differences, they shared the common goal of maintaining their positions in the love and hip-hop universe, which often meant stirring the pot and feeding the drama machine. But things started shifting behind the scenes. According to inside sources, tensions between Kirk and Mendeecees had been simmering for months. The producers, always hungry for more drama, noticed this growing animosity. It was clear to everyone that a storm was brewing, but no one expected the explosion that followed. The turning point came at a Love and Hip Hop afterparty. What was supposed to be a quiet wind down before the official reunion show quickly escalated into absolute chaos. An argument between Kirk and Mendeecees spiraled completely out of control. Multiple sources confirmed that things were already tense between them, with rumors circulating that Mendeecees had been trash-talking Kirk, calling him a washed-up husband who only stayed relevant because of Rashida's success. For Kirk, these accusations cut deep. He had spent years building his own legacy in the love and hip-hop world and wasn't about to let Mendeecees disrespect him. The situation became a ticking time bomb, and when producers caught wind of the escalating tension, they knew something had to be done. What they didn't anticipate was just how bad things were about to get. Behind closed doors, the altercation began with a few choice words, but as the argument heated up, so did the aggression. Kirk, always the proud veteran of the show, wasn't having it. His legacy, his reputation, everything he had worked for was being insulted. Mendeecees had been vocal about how Kirk's past scandals were holding the show back, and for Kirk, that was the ultimate betrayal. "You're telling me I'm holding the show back?" Kirk reportedly fired back, from a guy who just got out of prison, a guy who was barely relevant before Yandy picked him up. The two men were no longer just arguing about the direction of the show. The fight had turned deeply personal. Kirk reportedly confronted Mendeecees backstage, and things quickly escalated into a physical altercation. Words were thrown, but so were punches. According to eyewitnesses, Kirk shoved Mendeecees so hard that he stumbled into a chair, and from there the fight turned into an all-out brawl. Crew members and producers rushed in to break up the fight, but it was too late. The damage was done. What was supposed to be a quiet after-party had turned into the spectacle of the year. And of course, someone had pulled out their phone just as the fight broke out. The footage went viral within hours. The aftermath was explosive, with fans in complete shock. This was unlike anything Love and Hip Hop had ever aired before. The fight spread like wildfire across social media, with fans immediately taking sides. Some supported Kirk, saying Mendeecees had no right to talk down to a Love and Hip Hop OG. Others sided with Mendeecees, accusing Kirk of being the aggressor. But nobody could have predicted the fallout that followed. Behind the scenes, producers and executives were scrambling. This wasn't just another brawl between cast members. This was an all-out scandal that could tarnish the reputation of the entire Love and Hip Hop brand. With legal concerns, fan backlash, and the potential for further controversy, producers knew they couldn't just sweep this under the rug. An emergency meeting was called, and by the end of the night, the verdict was clear. Kirk and Mendeecees were done. Fired, blacklisted, out of the picture. It wasn't just about the fight, it was about the brand's integrity. Love and Hip Hop had built its empire on drama, but this was too much. The fight had been caught on camera, and now the entire franchise was in jeopardy. The producers feared legal action, possible lawsuits, and further scandals. It was an emergency they couldn't afford. And just like that, Kirk and Mendeecees, once staples of the Love and Hip Hop world, were banned from the show. Their careers shattered in one night. But this wasn't the end of their story. As the reality TV industry turned its back on them, both men weren't about to go quietly. The next day, Kirk was reportedly pacing in his living room, furious. "This can't be happening," he said to Rashida. "I've been with Love and Hip Hop since the beginning. I built this show. They need me." But Rashida, ever the voice of reason, knew what had to be done. "Kirk, you crossed the line," she told him. "You put your hands on him, and now it's out there for everyone to see. There's no going back from this." Kirk couldn't accept it. For him, this wasn't just about the fight, it was about his legacy. He had been one of the biggest stars of Love and Hip Hop for years, and now to be discarded so easily felt like the ultimate betrayal. "They can't just do this to me," he was heard saying. "I built this show. Without me, there is no Love and Hip Hop." Across the country, Mendeecees was having his own crisis. Sitting with Yandy, he received the same call. "This is some exploitive bull," he reportedly snapped. "I've been through too much to let this be the end." Yandy, always the strategist, reminded him that the industry wasn't always fair. "We've been through worse," she reassured him. "This isn't the end." But even as Mendeecees fought back, a deep fear lingered. His entire career had been built around Love and Hip Hop, and now that door was shut. Both men, devastated by the decision, didn't just accept it, they were determined to fight back. Kirk started the legal process, claiming wrongful termination. "This isn't just about the fight," he told his lawyer. "It's about respect. It's about my legacy." Mendeecees took a different approach. He turned to social media, sharing his side of the story in an emotional Instagram live session. With tears in his eyes, he declared, "I've been through too much, and I'm not going to let this defeat me." While the industry had turned its back on them, both Kirk and Mendeecees weren't ready to fade into obscurity. They knew they had one thing the networks couldn't take away: their fan base. That's when the story takes another twist. Kirk began reaching out to other reality shows, expressing his desire to still be part of the entertainment world. He made appearances on talk shows, dropping hints about the real story behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Mendeecees turned to podcasting, sharing his journey, frustrations, and pain with a rapidly growing audience. Fans followed them religiously, giving them a platform to speak their truth. For the first time, it seemed like Kirk and Mendeecees were the true underdogs of the story. While Love and Hip Hop attempted to move forward without them, the world was finally hearing their unfiltered side of what went down that night. The fans weren't done with them yet, not by a long shot. In fact, many began rallying behind Kirk and Mendeecees, demanding that the networks reconsider their decision. The hashtag #BringBackKirk and Mendeecees started trending, putting even more pressure on the producers to respond to the public outcry. It wasn't long before both men found new opportunities outside of reality TV. They might not have been on Love and Hip Hop anymore, but they had built legacies that would forever be intertwined with the fabric of reality television. Instead of being at the mercy of producers and networks, they had taken back their power and were charting their own course. Kirk launched his own YouTube channel, giving fans an unfiltered look into his life with Rashida and their family. The raw, authentic content quickly gained traction, with subscribers tuning in to see the real Kirk Frost, not the carefully edited version shown on Love and Hip Hop. "This is me," he told viewers during his first video. "No editing, no producers telling me what to say or how to act. Just real life." Mendeecees partnered with Yandy to create a mentorship program for at-risk youth, drawing from his own experiences to help young people avoid the pitfalls he had faced. Their work gained recognition not just from fans, but from community leaders and activists. "Sometimes your biggest setback is just setting you up for something greater," Mendeecees shared during a community event. Their individual ventures were successful, but what fans didn't see coming was the unexpected collaboration between the two former rivals. 8 months after their infamous fight, Kirk and Mendeecees announced they were launching a joint podcast called The Comeback Kings, focusing on resilience, redemption, and reality TV behind the scenes. Their first episode broke streaming records, with both men candidly discussing the fight that ended their Love and Hip Hop careers. "Looking back, it was stupid," Kirk admitted on air. "Two grown men fighting over a show that was using our drama to line their pockets anyway." Mendeecees nodded in agreement. "We played right into their hands, and then they cut us both loose when it got too real." As for Love and Hip Hop, the drama continued, but it was never quite the same without Kirk and Mendeecees. The show tried to move forward with new faces and fresh storylines, but ratings began to slip. Fans complained that the new cast members felt inauthentic, lacking the raw, unapologetic energy that Kirk and Mendeecees had brought to the screen. By the following season, the network executives were feeling the pressure. Viewership had dropped significantly, and social media engagement wasn't what it used to be. The Love and Hip Hop franchise, once a cultural phenomenon, was losing its grip on audience attention. In a move that shocked everyone, the network reached out to both Kirk and Mendeecees with offers to return not just as cast members, but as executive producers with creative control over their own storylines. It was an unprecedented deal, acknowledging the undeniable impact they had on the show's success. Both men took their time responding, letting the network sweat a little. After all they'd been through, they weren't about to jump back in without guarantees. When they finally agreed to return, it was on their terms. Higher pay, creative input, and ownership stakes in any spin-offs featuring their families. Their triumphant return to Love and Hip Hop wasn't just a comeback, it was a complete reinvention of what reality stars could accomplish in an industry known for chewing people up and spitting them out. Kirk and Mendeecees had transformed from reality TV casualties to savvy businessmen who understood their worth. "Sometimes you have to lose it all to realize what you're really worth," Kirk reflected during their return episode. Mendeecees added, "We're not just here to entertain, we're here to build our legacies on our own terms." The fall from grace that could have ended their careers instead became the defining moment that transformed them from reality stars to industry powerhouses. For Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris, what looked like the end was really just the beginning of their greatest chapter yet.